Uh, Hello everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Emmanuel Madanga, and I'm continuing with the Microsoft Excel series, or we can call it a playlist. So today we are going to look at sum function family. In the previous video I explored on how to discover the power of a count function family. So today I'm covering a sum function family, and we want to see how helpful we can make use of sum function family in Microsoft Excel to perform our day-to-day life activities at work or as students. Yeah. So let me start by sharing the agendas of today. Agendas of our today's training. Yeah. So the agendas here, as we can see, we are going to look at the sum function itself and its hands-on application. We're going also to look at the sum column, where you can make use of the sum function to compute the sum of an entire column. And again, we are going to look at how to sum non-contiguous cells in Microsoft Excel using the sum function. Then we shall proceed to the Autosum function in Microsoft Excel and its hands-on application. Thereafter, we have other agendas also. We are going to look at the conditional criteria, that is to look at the sum if. Also be in a position to look at the sum largest numbers, and we are also going to see how to sum the nth row in a given Microsoft Excel sheet. We are also going to proceed and look at sum ifs, multiple criteria, that is, and then how to come up with the running total in Microsoft Excel that may help us automate some tasks in Microsoft Excel. Every time a new data is updated, there is a self update that happens in your worksheet by having a running total. So we are going also to look at that, and then that is what we are just going to look at today. So let me start by these are just other additional concepts which we are going to interact with them in line with whatsoever we are going to discover here. So I think let's get started. So we start with looking at the sum function. So a sum function is used to sum cells that contain numbers and returns total also, which is sometimes referred to as the sum range. Okay, so let's go to Microsoft Excel where we have our sample or data set that we can use for particularly this training. So let's see what we have here. So let's start from sum function in Microsoft Excel. So how do we go about this? So as we have just said, sum function or sum range, you can just sum a range. So for example, you just say here equal to, then you select you say sum, you open your brackets. It now gives you the mandate to either select range or give numbers separating them with the comma. So for this, we are going to make use of the sum range. Okay, you just highlight the range of data that you want, close it, close the parentheses, then you hit enter. You'll be able to populate that sum for that particular case. So when you hit enter, you get that total. So that is how the sum function works in Microsoft Excel, right? Yes, as simple as that, you'll have obtained your first case by just summing that. then you'll be able to obtain that. So let's see how to sum the entire column. You see, this is still sum function, but how elaborate, how the sum function family is made use of, brings the lucrative part of it, and thus giving more insights to be discovered in Microsoft Excel. So let's see how we can sum the entire column in Microsoft Excel for us to be able to uncover that power. So when you want to sum the entire column in Microsoft Excel, you see, for example, we have these entries from here to here, and again we have another entry here, and maybe there's another entry in let's say observation row number 99 or row number 1000 and so on. So how can you just sum that entire column without having problems? So in Microsoft Excel, just say equal to, then you call the sum function, then inside your sum function just select the column is A1, so it's just A, column is A, so you just separate it with the colon AA, column AA. That will sum any observation that will be on that range, or any value that will be on that column. So when you hit enter, you obtain your results that will have summed the entire column. So just hit enter, you see it is 108. So suppose I add another entry here, let me say add here something like 4, you see, you now obtain any sum on that column. So that is for the case of the column. So suppose we also want to sum the entire row. So when you want to sum the entire row, let me say I just want to sum this entire row 21. So maybe I enter here another value 5, I enter here 10, I enter here something like 20, and I want to obtain sum of the entire column in Microsoft Excel. How do I go about it? So I'll just say equal to, then I say this, I call the sum function with me, then to call a row you specify by the value. So this is row 21, row 21 separate by that is full colon row 21. You close your parenthesis, and when now you hit enter, you will obtain the total of that. So we can see we have here 35, 39. So let's see what the sum are we going to obtain in that particular cell. So when you hit enter, you will obtain your total there. Yeah, and that is it. So suppose let's proceed to the next aspect that we have to cover today. We have looked at the sum to the entire column, to the sum to the entire row, and maybe you want faster to explore the power of sum function. Let's see how to sum the contiguous cells in Microsoft Excel here with us. So the contiguous cells, these are cells that are not next to each other. When you want to sum them, how do you go about it in Microsoft Excel? That's what we want to uncover here now. So let me go to the Excel data that I have for this particular case. So here, let's see here. So here we have these entries, and maybe I want to sum some contiguous cells here. So let me say here we'll just use equal to sum. So you can remember when I introduced the sum function, when I was summing the range, I said there is an alternative of summing some particular cells, separating them with comma cell values. So for example, in this case, I wanted to sum A3. So I just click A3, separate with comma, then I go to A5, separate with comma, I go to maybe A8, separate with comma. Okay, here I'm at the end, so I just close. So you can do this. You can do this summing the contiguous cells. It's just done this way. You just hit enter, you will obtain that. Or alternatively, that is a sum function. You may use the sum formula. You just say equal to, you go select that is A3 plus, you go to A5 plus, then you go to A8. Also performs the same task as the one that we've seen using the sum function. Yeah. So when you hit enter, you can see just generate the same output. Yeah, and you're good to do. That's the easiest way of summing non-contiguous cells in Microsoft Excel, right? Hope we are together up to that point. All right, so if we are together up to that point, so let's proceed to the autosum function in Microsoft Excel. Let's see the autosum function in Microsoft Excel. So you can use the autosum, or its alternative is by just pressing a shortcut, the Alt plus equal, so to quickly sum rows or column numbers. Yeah, so let's see how this works in Microsoft Excel. Let's see how this works in Microsoft Excel. So let's go to that sample data for that. So maybe this is my sample data I have. So I just go to the last empty, the next empty cell, yeah, below my data. Then I will definitely just want my sum function. So under home tab, I will go to editing. There I will obtain my autosum. So I just click autosum. There you go. Just hit enter, and then you'll have populated everything. So just hit enter, you obtain your totals. Alternatively, you may just use the shortcut for that. So let me remove this. Maybe a shortcut for that. Whenever you are there, just Alt equal to, you'll be able to auto-populate that at the same time. Yeah, that is how autosum works, as simple as that. And it is alternative shortcut is also there with you, so you can play around with your case studies. So let's see the case study of shortcut, autosum shortcut, that can save us a lot of time. So for example, I have here the quarter performance of each cells, maybe for coffee, tea, milk, and so that. So, and I want to obtain the sum for each quarter, and again get the sum for each item that I have. So what I just have to do, just highlight my entire data range. Yeah, I want to obtain all the totals and all that. So just click Alt equal to, then I'll be able to populate everything. Yeah, as simple as that. You see, that's how powerful Microsoft Excel is. Yeah, and it saves a lot of time. You see, I have not used anything, just populated that, and I think that is very interesting. So let's proceed to our next slide. So before we proceed to the conditional criteria, let's look deeply into some other advanced aspects of some function that can enable us to obtain totals based on other combination or concatenation of other Microsoft Excel functions. In this case, we are going to concatenate sum with large function to be able to sum the first four largest numbers. Okay, like the largest numbers that we can have in our particular range. Just summing the largest four numbers that we have in this range. So let's go to our Microsoft Excel. That is Microsoft Excel dataset, where we are going to perform this. So this is my data. This is my data range that I have. So I want to perform this by using the sum and the large function. So how do I go about it? Just say equal to sum. So we have said the case study here is just want to sum the largest four largest numbers. Sum the four largest numbers in the Excel, this particular range. So just say equal to sum. I open my first parenthesis. I write a large function there. Now here I must provide an array, and then after providing the array is the range of data that I want to look for the large. So, and then I separate this with comma, and then I open the parenthesis here. This parenthesis will be able to take the first largest number, second largest number, third largest number, then the fourth largest number. I close this, yeah, and then I close the first curly bracket for the large, then I close the second curly bracket Okay, sorry, not the curly bracket, but the parenthesis. And then now I hit Control Shift Enter for me to be able to have worked with this array of functions. So Control Shift, then when I hit Enter, I will be able to populate the sum of my top 4 largest numbers. I can see this large number here, the first one. This is the second largest number that I have in this case, the third, and then the fourth. So when you sum all that, you obtain 46. That's how powerful sum function can be when you are having such like case studies. Yeah. So you need to just figure out some scenarios where these functions are useful and make use of them. They are very useful in our day-to-day work. Yeah. So we just need to understand that combination. So let's see the sum of nth rows. Sum of nth rows. So for example, let me show you the slide before we dive deeper into it. So the sum of every nth row. So maybe you just want to sum after every third row. You just want to sum every third row. You just want to sum that. So how do you go about it? So I want to just go directly to what we anticipate to get here, how to populate that. So if you are not familiar with Microsoft Excel functions, sum function, as we have looked at it, just sums of what we have provided. So when you look at the mod just gets the remainder. So whenever there is a remainder of 0 that is matching with the row function is used to return the row number of a particular cell. When the row number divided by the mod of 3, yeah, and the value 3, which returns the mod for that particular cell value, okay, the cell number returns 0. So be able to sum that. So for us to perform that, let's go to Microsoft Excel. That is the overview of this function, how it works in Microsoft Excel. So in case you're having troubles, you can just copy this function and you populate at your end. You try to comprehend later, because I have covered here in this aspect, bringing the idea of the every nth row. So let's see how it works. So you just say equal to, then sum function, you select your range of data, you can have. So this we are going to combine it using an asterisk, and then we open our bracket, then we say the mod. This is a mod function. Is a mod function we are going to use. Yeah. And then also take some, also it is values. It is taking another function known as a row. It returns the row reference. So also again we select our data. Yeah. So whenever this cell is being referenced, the divisor for the mod is going to be 3, because it's for every third. So in case you want every fourth row, you change the divisor, yeah, to 4, to 5, and so on. And whenever this is happening and it is remainder is equal to 0, then be able to sum this. Then you Control Shift Enter for you to get the sum of that combination of array of formulas. Control Shift Enter, then you'll be able to auto-populate that. So that is how it works in Microsoft Excel. So you need just to understand how this particularly work, and it will be very easier for you to work with. So let's proceed to the conditional criteria, Microsoft Excel. So The first sum conditional criteria we have here is the sum if, the simplest one. Only takes the sum if function takes, okay, sorry for this, a minute. All right. So the sum if function here, what does it? It can take 2 arguments or 3 arguments based on what you want. So let's first of all look at the numeric criteria aspect of it, the numeric aspect, before we look at the text aspect. The text aspect is where we'll be able to get some aspects of criteria being a text. So let's see this. So in Microsoft Excel, let's go to that. So the first case here, some values that are greater than 9. So for example, you are working with data for patients and you want to get the records of, okay, based on age, you wanted to sum the age of patients who are having age greater than 18 or something. So in this case, for this aspect, I'm making use of numeric criteria, which is 9. So I'll just say equal to sum, and again sum function, not sum if function. So sum if function, it will ask me to select the range, provided the range. So this is the range I have. So, and in this case, it is taking only 2 arguments, only that and the condition itself. So condition should be placed in quotes, the double quotes. So in quotes, let's say greater than 9, yeah. Then you close that, close your function. Then you hit enter. You'll be able to obtain the total of all values that are greater than 9. And there you go. So that's how it works. So let's see the other criteria. Okay, the other condition, the case 2 is for the text criteria. So for the text criteria here, you want to sum cell values whose corresponding color is green, for example. So how can you do that in Microsoft Excel? So how does that happen? So let's see. So you come here. So for example, as I have said, you want to sum cells values which are corresponding to the green color. So to the green text, yeah, right? So you'll say equal to sum if the range is the range where your criteria is coming from, comma, then you give the criteria in quotes, that is green, in quotes, separate by a comma. Then you now provided the sum range. Then you close your parenthesis. Then you hit enter. You'll be able to obtain sum that meets that particular criteria. So anything that will not be meeting that criteria will be left out. So this is 21. So let's see. So we have here 1 and we have here 20. So when you sum the 2, you get 21. So that's how it works. As simple as that. Yeah. So in the previous, we have discussed on the sum if. So let's look at the sum ifs function. This is for based on multiple criteria. That is known as the sum ifs. Based on multiple criteria. So let's see that. How does that work? Microsoft Excel. So for example, you're having here a case study where you want to sum. In the previous example, we have looked in the text aspect. We have looked where there is green, we sum those cells. So in this case, you have multiple. Maybe where there is circle, and again where there is red, you have to sum that. It is just, for example, a normal case study for the population. Maybe you wanted to understand, I want to get sum of age of female students. Okay, maybe let's say you want to get the total marks of female students in a class who are coming from a particular location. You see, we have that aspect of location and the aspect of gender. Yeah. Then now we want to sum their marks. Yeah, so that is what is happening here in the Sumifs case. Here, Sumifs, multiple criteria here, based on the circle color, and based on the circle, and based on the red. So let's see how does this work in Microsoft Excel. So let's go to that aspect. Let's go to that aspect of the Sumifs. And here we are. So how do we make use of Sumifs? So here, say equal to Sumifs. I open my parenthesis. So the sum range, the first case is this. So maybe I'm selecting my sum range, criteria 1, criteria 2, and so on. So as we are looking at this, so we are saying that we want to start by taking the sum range. So the sum range is the range where you have your data, okay, data values. So and then you proceed with the criteria, the first criteria range, then you provide the criteria for that aspect. So this is maybe in this category we just want the shape, circle shape. You put it in double quotes, separate with comma, and then you go to the second criteria range, yeah, comma, then put the criteria itself in double quotes, just like that, and then you close your Microsoft Excel function, and you're done. You hit enter to be able to populate that. Yeah, so as simple as that. So let's look at the last aspect. The very last aspect is on running totals. This one I usually find it very interesting, very applicable in almost all the sectors, all the fields. You just need to understand this. So let's get started. So how does it work? So here we have months and we have cells. Yeah, you want every time you update the cells that are made in a particular month, you want the overall total to be updated and also the running total to be updated at the same time. And maybe you want to do that for maybe a year. Let me just remove this and maybe show you what I mean. Maybe I make it more interesting, something like this. So let me just take it as a year period, for a year, maybe financial year. Maybe my financial year started in the month of January, so maybe it's ending in the month of December. So let me see this. So here, every time I update here something, I need this something to be captured in the overall totals. So let me have here my total aspect. So this total here, just the normal, just say equal to sum, and maybe you provided the range. Yeah, we provided the range here from this cell to the last cell, as simple as that. Then you close, hit enter. So you see, as every time I update here something, that total will change. Yeah, but we also need to understand the cumulative sum out of it, that is the running total at this end. So every time we update here something, the running total is also working smoothly. So how does this work? So we say equal to, so in this aspect I'm going to use the sum function, but in the sum function, inside it I provide some range. So this range is taking it from cell B2. So just select cell B2. So this cell B2, I will set it absolute. So I don't want it to change every time. This one I want to set it absolute. So by setting it absolute, it will not change, it will be fixed. Then I select again cell B2, which will be relative, which can be able to move. So I will tell you the reason why I'm doing this. So when I hit enter, it will be just be that value only. So what makes me make use of this is, you see, this is just referencing the same cell, referencing the sum of the same cell. So it cannot that's just one cell. So when I drag here, that is the essence of setting that cell absolute, is that when I drag here up to the end, yeah, you see, so that's the running total. So you see how it is. So this is absolute, just taking this value and summing and the value that is at that point, right? Sum that the value that is corresponding to that, taking this, summing to the value that is corresponding the adjacent sum. Yeah, so that's how it works. So let's see that range, sums that range up to that end. So anytime you update here anything, your Microsoft Excel, everything will work, everything is automated. This is how we automate tasks in Microsoft Excel, and it is very not time consuming. So you see, you can just set your work very easily, working with your finance and everything. This one works for circles, for small self-help groups. You can automate this, yeah. And we have several scenarios where we make use of the running totals. So just learn these criteria, learn these functions, learn how to combine them with the other functions to make them very useful. And again, just look at a case study where you have a problem, try to figure out which appropriate function is most suitable to curb that challenge that you may experience at that particular point, yeah, and then you'll be good to go. So thank you so much for watching this video. I have come to an end of our sum function family. Subscribe to my channel, YouTube channel, where you'll be able to get a lot of updates on other function families and other Microsoft Excel related solutions. In this series, I'm proceeding with functions. And again, we'll be able to handle a lot of advanced aspects of Microsoft Excel, building very good visualizations and dashboards. So you cannot miss this. Subscribe to our channel. Thank you so much for